good?
Yeah, not too bad, boss. Not too bad. Could be better.
Good. Remind everyone who you support, just so they know.
Yeah, Newcastle fan. Newcastle fan for
Yeah.
sins. But
What did you make? What did you make of it today? Obviously, you're disappointed to lose. Everybody always is. Gave a good go of it though, I felt, and still a work in progress. But how did you see it as a Newcastle fan?
you know what? I mean, listen, there's no shame in losing to Man City 1-0. I thought defensively we kept our shape. We looked quite solid. We didn't give them too many clear opportunities, but my gripe with the whole performance was the attacking side of things. I think we didn't trouble Edison one at all, and I think we only really gave it a go in the last 15 minutes. I mean, I understand you can't really go head to head, toe to toe with Man City for 90 minutes because they'll just pick you
Yeah.
apart. But I just thought there was just a bit of apprehension and nervousness about our attacking play. It's not until Harvey Barnes came on that we looked a bit more threatening. We didn't carve out any opportunities in the first half, really. And in the second half, when we did break, our decision making was very poor, very poor. So it just shows the levels that we need to get to, and we're quite a way off it. But not many teams are going to do that to Newcastle this season. Probably only Man City. So, and that's Man City away. I expect us to give a better account of ourselves at home. But yeah, defensively not too bad. Offensively, a lot to work on. I think we lack that creative player that can, unlock defensive. We work hard, we're physical, but when it comes to that extra bit of creativity, we're missing that. We're missing that.
Yeah, I think not getting Maddison. I watched what he did to Man United today. Would have been a player that you would have gone for. But I think this is where, and I know that everybody wants stuff now. Typically, I'm not saying you, but as a general rule, to think where you've come in the last 18 to 24 months, the progression that you've made, you were still in that today's game. You were still in it, and that's the thing with today's match. At any moment, you could have. If you would, any moment up until the final whistle, you could have drawn the game. It's not embarrassing to lose 1-0 away from home. You won't lose any confidence in this game. It's not like you got battered 4 or 5-0 and you're walking away licking your wounds. I think it was a good showing, but I think City are just so good. They're on for a 4-peat. They've got 3 of their best players out, and they're still able to perform to that level, and it's a hard thing for anyone to handle. And Hamza's here with us now as well. Another win, bro. 3 points in the bag. Coping without KDB. Talk to us, Hamza.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. It was a stressful game. Big up Newcastle. Newcastle, absolutely a great side. It was a tough game. Even I was worried before the game because we've seen how they've played. They've played with, last week we saw Sandro Tonali. Their midfield is quite very, very good. So before the game, seeing Gumare, Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton, I was scared. I was like, listen, I have to put my hand up. I thought Newcastle have got heart. And we've seen them going to places like Brentford last year, and they've won like 5-1. So Newcastle, not an easy game. So today, as soon as before the game started, and I saw my bench, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a long night, and it's going to be a tight game. Newcastle gave us all they needed to do. And they were absolutely a great team. Eddie Howe has done so well with such a youthful side. He's improved them. These guys are playing for the badge. And it was so hard. We needed that goal. But what a performance from the team, especially the midfield. We just edged it. But Rodri, impeccable. Kovacic was absolutely outstanding. And listen, Foden was brilliant today. Man City fans were calling him up saying, this is your year. This is the game you have to perform. Other rivals were saying it. And today, Foden came out and he showed levels. He was able to pick up the ball and he had the confidence of asking for the ball. When you ask for the ball and he would keep asking for the ball and he would take on one player, two players, and he would make a beautiful ball. And playing in the middle, which I have to put my hand up. I thought he's versatile. He can play all the position. But today he might have exposed one thing, that he's so brilliant in the middle. And one person said it. The reason why Saka's probably doing very well, he's probably stuck on that side and he's learned that way. This is my area. I'm going to play there. Game in, game out. Phil Foden keeps getting chained. So could it be this is his position and he has to thrive? But one thing we have to be very careful. Newcastle, very, very good side. Very good side. And listen, they're going to be a major threat. And we were lucky because Callum Wilson, if he plays that ball, they've equalized. And that's what is like when great players will make absolutely great decision at the right time. At that time, you have to pass the ball. You have to pass. They were 3-on-1. You have to take advantage because Man City will never give you any other chance. So when teams play Man City, we've seen in Sevilla, when they didn't take their chance, we took them to penalties and won the game. You have to take your chances against City. And today, I think all those City fans who were saying, oh, this squad is good enough. Listen, I've been saying it for a while. We're not happy. Listen, I'm not happy. Look at the bench. Was Pep really? If Pep really loved all those players, yeah, why didn't he bring anyone on? Where was Calvin Phillips? Where was Cole Palmer? People tell me, oh, we're happy with McAtee and Cole Palmer on the bench. Why did he not bring them on? A conversation that must be had. We got away with a 1-0 win today, but City must sign a player, 2 or 3 players at least. I think 3, but 2's pushing it.
I hear you. Look, and on the Phil Foden thing, I agree with you. I think he does need to be given. Listen, KDB is one of the best midfielders the Premier League has ever seen, and I've had him in my top 5 now for about 2 years, top 5 ever. But I think he's coming towards the end physically. He'll still score and create, but his body's starting to let him down. And I think Phil Foden should be given a run of games now in that position with him being out and the chance to cement a main position. If you don't let him do that, we've got Rashford at our club. I'm so infuriated he's been put as a 9 again when he isn't any good at it. Last year, look how many goals he scored playing off the left. We have injury problems and a lack of purchases. We move him into an area where he's average at. He's average as a number 9. So stick him back where he's meant to be. So I agree with that on Foden there. And you are right. I do think you need to go out and buy. I do think as you say, in terms of 1 or 2 more injuries and suddenly you guys dropping off isn't like the rest of us, but it makes you a little bit more human. V's here with us. Long time no see, V. Good to have you back on the terrace. Good result tonight. Talk to me about the game.
Very good result, man. Very good result. That was a fight. Newcastle, they were kicking us all over that pitch. It was a battle. We played earlier in the week, right? So to win the Super Cup, fantastic. Short rest, turnaround. They did us no favors having us play on Saturday. Could have played Sunday, could have played Monday. Did us no favors. Pep had those 11 guys gutted out and fight it against this Newcastle team. It was fierce. I think when I look at how we had to perform and what Pep asked the players to do, I can't complain. Look, like Professor Hamza mentioned earlier, the players on the bench aren't of that make a difference level yet. They're young, they've got great promise, but to play against a Newcastle team that were in excellent form last season and show that they're up for it this season, we couldn't do it. I think he trusted the 11 to get the win, and I said before the game even kicked off, I believe this 11 can get the result. Now, if it had to go to relying on subs, that's where I had some risk. But this performance was much needed to kind of quiet down our fan base in a way. We some of our fan base have been panicking. They've been saying, just stopgap buy. I don't agree that we need to stopgap buy. Let's still be smart, long-term vision, get the right players at the right price. We don't splash the cash, but let's do that and move forward. We're really waiting for players to come back from injury. Once they're back from injury, it's calm.
Yeah, listen, I agree. I don't think City will panic. I do think you need to buy, but it needs to be players that I kind of look at it. I mean, it's probably a good job you didn't land Paqueta if he's guilty of this accusation, because then you'd lose him anyway. But you look at the Doku situation, you clearly want him. You wanted Elise. So you've got to buy players your manager wants, but you've got to bring them in. No doubt about it. But yeah, I can't imagine why any City fan would be panicking about the way your club is run or what Pep Guardiola is doing personally. But that's only me looking from the outside in. It's only a short stream tonight, people, because I've got to...
Terry, 1 second. Actually, another reason why we don't need to panic as City fans is when we look at the landscape, should we really be worried about, no offense, Terry, United? Should we really be worried about Liverpool? We don't really need to panic. We're not seeing the teams quite established to really make this as difficult as a four-peat attempt should be.
I kind of agree with you on that in the sense of let's wait and see what Arsenal look like in their next game. But so far, like everybody started off with, some wins and draws, but nobody's looking like the completed team yet. Whether it's Man United, Tottenham, Chelsea, no one looks complete yet. However, you don't want to start slowly and then someone clicks into. I get where they're coming from, but I don't think they should panic.